भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ।
Dear friends, welcome back to the study of the Upanishad after a break of a fortnight. We were studying the Upanishad, the first chapter of the Ditya Mundaka, the second Mundaka and the first chapter. This chapter deals with the answer to the question that Shaunaka asked his guru Angirasa, Kasminnu bhagavo vigyate sarvam idam vigyatam bhavati iti. That was the question. Of this question, the running translation is there anything, O dear Lord, by knowing which all else becomes known? The thirst for knowledge, thirst for knowing is totally satiated. But instead of using the word kasminnu gyate, that is knowing through my sense organs, he uses the word vigyate. Please underline this word kasminnu vigyate. What is vijnana and vigyate? Having experience to which I am totally saturated, nothing remains to be known more than this. Nothing more remains to be experienced. I have my final experience of life. He has used the word experience. Now, I would like to spend a little time of yours, to explain the distinction between jnana and vijnana. If you do not know this thoroughly, these statements which will follow will be a little bit of puzzle for you, and you will be in a constant suspicion, constant hesitation, constant doubt. What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? So let us try to explain that first. Jnana in English is knowledge. How does knowledge, as we know, generate? I have my 5 sense organs. I have my internal organ known as the mind, and I have my brain, the storehouse of all energy. Good enough. I open my eyes, the light is sufficient, and I see things. By seeing those things, I know I have certain objects of my vision. And each object stands on 4 concepts. The object has a name, the object has a form, the object has certain qualities, and the object has a utilitarian value in human society. And I say, I know. And there are 5 avenues. I know by seeing, I know by hearing, I know by smelling, I know by touching, and by tasting. These are the 5 avenues of acquisition of knowledge, and the mind takes it to that part of the brain, and the brain reacts about it and tells you, this is this. And you say, I know, I know, I know. This is an intellectual process, and this process of generating knowledge is a science in itself known as epistemology. But forget about those frightful names. The fact of life is, when the atmosphere is conducive, whether the whole surrounding is conducive, I know by seeing, I know by hearing, I know by smelling, I know by touching, I know by smelling. This is the area and the field of knowing and generation of knowledge. What is Vijnana then? Vishesha. It's a particular type of knowing. That is, in our Sanskrit language, is very precise. As you know, the words are chosen in such a manner in Sanskrit that there is no chance of ambiguity. It is pinpointed, direct, you cannot go wrong. What is Vijnana? Svanubhava karanam Vijnanam. Now don't be afraid of this Sanskrit language. Swa means self. Anubhava karanam means experiencing. Knowing and experiencing is being differentiated, though the experiencing is dependent upon knowing. Therefore, it's a special type of knowing where I assimilate that knowledge and I experience it. As for instance, my teacher tells me, my child, be very careful of fire. Don't play with fire. It will burn you. These are words. The words are arranged in a proper way and it has a meaning. My child, don't play with fire. It will burn you. Through the process of hearing, the knowledge generates that do not play with fire. Fire has the capacity to burn you. I now know I should not play with fire, it may burn you. But what is that burning? I have known intellectually, fire burns. So, playfully, as a child, I wanted to catch the candle lamp. The light, the flame of the candle as a child knows nothing. He has to experience. That is how I learned. And as soon as I held it, I had a particular sensation which was my experience. What is the experience of being burnt? Swa Anubhava Karanam. Self-evident experiencing. That experience is mine, my very own. Nobody knows it. Neither can I explain it to you. But I have experienced it, and that experience is unshakably convincing. Even if God comes and tells me that was not a burning sensation, I would very politely and humbly say, sir, you have many things to do to run the world. You better keep busy. Let me alone with my conviction, which has been generated by experiencing. Vijnana now, if you allow me to say so, can be translated as self-experiencing. Jnana is a process of intellectual knowing, and Vijnana is a process of experiencing. The student here, Shaunaka, asks his teacher, sir, is there anything in this world experiencing which Vijnate, he did not use the word Jnate, he used the word Vijnate. Is there anything in this world, sir, having experienced which myself thirst for knowing ceases forever? Sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati. There is nothing left unknown to me. I know everything. Through what? Through my experiencing. So Upanishad teaches you how to experience the reality behind the appearance which appears to be real, but it is unreal appearance. That is the meaning of the word Upanishad, being exposed to which, coming in proximity with, your ignorance of your true original nature will totally be dissolved. You know yourself, the famous saying, know thyself. You will know thyself. You will know yourself. Now, as I told you before, that Vijnana is preconditioned by Jnana. That's why the word Jnana and Vijnana are uttered together. They're jointly expressed. Jnana, Vijnana. Jnana is the intellectual process. Why? That intellectual process, now I'm talking about sadhana. Sadhana means the practice to reach that ultimate goal, oneness with the divine, or to re-establish yourself in your lost, pristine glory, in your majesty, in your reality. I am what I am. I am everywhere. That is my true original nature. Now, this has to be first intellectually convincing. Until and unless you develop with an intense intellectual activity of omitting all sorts of fallacies, all possibilities of ambiguity, until and unless you develop a rock-solid, crystal-clear, intellectual conviction, how will the experience generate? The experience will generate as a necessary projection of your intellectual conviction. Therefore, making use of your intellect, making use of your brain to understand what is that reality and how can I intellectually convince myself in a rock-solid, crystal-clear manner, this is real. Intellectual conviction without experiencing. Jnanam. So, the Upanishad teaches you how to convince yourself in a rock-solid manner, in a crystal-clear manner, with your intellectual abilities, and then it will also teach you the process of swa-anubhava karanam, self-evident awareness. I will experience it myself. This is how the Upanishad should be understood and studied, and the ideas put into practice. This is why we have to be very, very cautious. Now, this first chapter of the second Mundaka, with 10 or 11 shlokas. This whole chapter is dedicated to help you to develop that intellectual conviction that ultimate reality, call it Brahman, call it divine, call it Atma, call it Sunyam, call it Holy Ghost, call it the wisdom of the divine Torah, we are not bothered. How to identify yourself with your true original nature, not what you know as I am. Let me repeat again. When I ask myself or you ask me, I don't know who you are. I say, I am Sridharananda. I identify myself with my name. What is your profession? What do you do? With your eyes, you see my form. I need not show it to you. You are seeing it. You have known my name. You have seen my form. Then you ask me, what's your profession? What do you do? And I tell you, I am a Swami and this and this and this and this. Identifying myself to you. And what is that identity? This body. So I am deeply rooted in this awareness. I am this body. And I am introducing myself as that. Because I know I am this body. But wait, the Upanishads indirectly tell you, and I'm giving you an example from the Upanishads, sarvam, the word sarvam, everything, all inclusive, no exclusion. Let me take that as an example. Say there are more than 250,000,000 humans in this world. Each human says, I am, I exist. So, highest common factor of human awareness is its own existence. Everybody says, I am, I exist, I am aware, I am. Awareness of my amness are not separable. I am means I am aware, I exist. That's what I say by the word I am. The whole human society says I am. A. Look at the diversity of the world. Wherever your eyes fall, there is something. And that something exists. It is it is, it is, it is, it is, it is. I am aware of its existence. And that it, if it's a developed biological creature, he will say, I am. And others, inanimate objects, they don't express, but I know they are. So awareness of isness, awareness of existence is the highest common factor of human understanding. Logically, rationally, I'm not wrong. That highest common factor is the reality. Separateness generates from absence of that real experience or knowledge. Let us say knowledge. Now we know everything is. Isness is everywhere. That isness, according to our present day understanding, is enclosed in four concepts: nama, rupa, guna, artha, kriya, character. Name, form, qualities, and utilitarian value. That is what it is. But amness and isness is everywhere. And why do I find it? You are that. Somehow or other, you are seized with such an amount of ignorance, misinformation, that you think yourself separated from the other because you think you are the body-mind complex. You are not the spirit, you are not the Holy Ghost, you are not the Atman, not the Brahman, nor the Sunyam, nor the Alakh Niranjan, nor the Torah, nor the Tao. I am separated. I stick out like a sore thumb in this world. This chapter has already taught you, we have covered 4 shlokas. We have already seen here, it starts with an example. A blazing fire emitting thousands of flame, thousands of sparks. A blazing, flaming fire emitting thousands of sparks. The spark has a different name, different shape and size, form, different qualities, different utilitarian value. But basically, they are fire. Quantitatively, they are different. Qualitatively, they are the same. The blazing fire and the spark. Why is this example given? That oneness in diversity is being highlighted. You give the fire a different name, spark, and you give the fire a different name, a blazing fire. You are differentiating, but basically, intrinsically, in reality, it is fire. Similarly, the whole cosmos is nothing else but the manifestation of the Absolute with different name, different form, different qualities, different utilitarian value. A. B. He is becoming more philosophical, the Upanishadic teacher. It is effulgent. Effulgence is equated with awareness. I am aware means it is openly known to me. Just like light, when it is burning, everything is visible to me, known to me. Awareness and light, effulgence are equated. It is Divya. Your true original nature is Divya effulgence. Amurta. You have no size or shape. You are as expansive as the whole cosmos. You are everywhere. You are not partitioned by a space. What is the shape of a body? You are occupying that space. You are partitioning the space. He is partitioning the space. I am. That partitioning of the space is my rupa, form. Then qualities, divine and non-divine and neutral. Qualities. Utilitarian value. Good for the society, bad for the society. Good for the world, bad for the world. That is how we have divided this world on 4 concepts. He says, forget all that. You are without shape, without form, without name. You are true effulgence, that is awareness. You are not a piece of stone. There's an awareness in you. I am means I am aware, I am. That means I am aware, I exist. Isness. Divya Amurta Purusha. Where is it to be found? Well, within you. What you know as I am, in reality is the essence of the cosmos. Sarvam khalu idam Brahma. Whatever you can ever conceive of, imagine of, in reality and in imagination, is Brahman and Brahman alone. And Tattvamasi, you are that. Where to be found? In me, Puri Shayanat, Purnatvad Purusha. Divya hi Amurta Purusha, Sabhajya Abhyantara Aja. There is no internal, no external. And it is birthless, deathless, eternal, infinite. Aprana Amana Shubhra. There is no cosmic activity in it. It is absolutely pure, unadulterated, unpolluted, diluted or unmixed. Pure. Aprana Apmana Shubhra Aksharat Parataha Paraha. That means the ultimate cause, it is beyond that ultimate cause. This statement, you have to understand a little deeply. Maya Atita. Maya Atita means where Maya does not exist, it is beyond the domain of Maya. And thereafter, everything is in the domain of Maya. Maya, it is not what it appears to be. Maya. Ma means not, Ya means what it appears to be. That is the meaning of the word Maya. I appear to be a human. That is wrong. I am the divine. I am the Brahman. I have to learn that. I have to educate myself. And ultimately, I have to go through a process of disciplined education where I can experience it myself. I am Atma, Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. What I have known as myself, it has broken all barriers, all boundaries, and I am one with the infinite. Purusha means don't think you have to look up in the skies, in the cosmos, what is Brahman, how to catch it, as if it's a monkey with a long tail sitting on a tree and you jump to catch its tail. Nothing doing. It is your true original nature. Sabhajya abhyantaraja aprana amana. It does not have prana, it doesn't have mana, and it is beyond the concept, maya atita. Then maya starts. Some of them, maya starts, maya adhisha is the concept of Parameshwara. Nirgun Nirakar Brahma becomes Saguna Sakar Parameshwara. That is, Maya is under his control. Maya Adhisha, ruler of Maya. Then another grade below, Maya Mukta, that is Jivana Mukta Purusha. They are still in this body. They live in this apparent world, but they are hooked up there. They are Maya Mukta. Maya has no effect on it. And you and me, we are Maya Adhina. We are under the thumb of Maya. That is, I have not yet realized my true original nature. So please remember these 4 different stages. Maya Adhina, Maya Mukta, Maya Adhisha, Maya Atita. Beyond that, Nirgun, Nirakar, Nirvikalpa Brahma. The concept of Maya is a reality because we are all under its influence. It is Anadi, but with Anta, Shanta. Whereas Brahman is Anadi, Ananta, beyond time. But a Maya Mukta Purusha, he has seen through the ball game and he is established in the excellence and majesty and regality of his own soul. Purusha. They has understood what is the meaning of Purusha. It is not on the gender language. Purusha is a special spiritual language. Purusha and Sri is gender-wise. Here Purusha means he who resides in this city. Puri Shayana. This is compared with a city. He who resides in the city. And he is Purnatva, and he is all pervasive. This is how intellectually he is explaining to you. And now this is a philosophical, very concise, abstract, almost abstract definition. Remaining 6 or 7 shlokas is Bistara. He is diversifying. From this, all the 7 seas, all the hills and mountains and dales have come out. From this, all types of creatures, with spine, without spine, reptiles, birds, humans, 4-legged animals, all of them have come. All these shlokas do not have much of a philosophical value. They are giving you an extensive description. What is the meaning behind the description? What is the lakshartha? What does the teacher of the Upanishad wants to teach? Please add a 5th dimension always in your understanding. Don't laugh, it's very funny, but it is not laughable. It is funny, but it is very serious. Now, what is that 5th dimension? We are speaking about 4 dimensions. Nama, name. Rupa, form. Guna, qualities. And Arthakriya, Karita, is the utilitarian value of that thing in this cosmos. These are the four concepts. Let me call them four dimensions. Our life flows on these four dimensions. I think myself with those four dimensions, and this infinite diversity of this world is on those four dimensions. He is telling you these dimensions are the cause of infinite diversity. I understand. Now the fifth dimension is Esha Sarvabhuta Antara Atma. Now add another dimension or another concept. What is that? In all this diversity, please kindly educate yourself to understand the essence, the Holy Ghost, the Spirit, the Atman, the Brahman, the Sunyam, the Alakh Niranjan, the Tao, the Torah, and all that speaks of that ultimate reality. It is everywhere. Please kindly now educate yourself with these four concepts with which you are very homely. You can't go out of it. Now educate yourself and always remember the divine, the ultimate reality is everywhere. And my life flows in these four concepts, but I educate myself to always remember, paramount among these four is the fifth, God is everywhere. This is the essence of the teaching of the remaining 6 shlokas. I will give you a running translation of this, and I would not like to waste your time going into detailed meaning of it. The books that you have gives you the meaning, word to word, and the running meaning. So, we have studied the 4th shloka. What is that 4th shloka? 4th shloka is Agnir Murdha Chakshushi Chandra Suryo Disha Srotre Bhag Vivitasya Veda Vayu Prana Hridayam Vishwamasya Padbhyam Prithibhi Hiesha Sarvabhuta Antaratma. Underline that. Hiesha Sarvabhuta Antara Atma. That is the catch. What does he say? Look at the way how the rishis in the past understood the whole cosmic movement. Sun is the source of solar energy, the energy that energizes the solar system. What does the sun do? Light and heat inseparable. Light and heat inseparably evaporates water from the ocean. Evaporation is the first change because of the sun's heat. Good enough. That vapor slowly and slowly condenses itself in a higher altitude where heat is less in the atmosphere. It condenses into a cloud. And that cloud slowly and slowly gets heavily saturated with moisture. And the cloud cannot hold that moisture anymore. It melts into water. Rain. Sun evaporating water, forming cloud. Cloud comes into rain. Where does the rain fall? All over the earth. On Mother Earth, which is 3/4 of sea, 1/4 of land, it falls on land also. And with that water, Vishwasya Dharini Dharitri, the word Mother Earth, it is capable of sprouting 1,000 types of herbal life. Through evolution of that life, animal life has come in. And animals live on those from produce of the earth, and they procreate, and the cycle goes on. That is how the whole system has been thought of. This is being said here in this shloka. He says, Agnira Murdha. Murdha is the head. You see, the sun is high up in the skies at the top of us. Chakshushi Chandra Surjo. Eyes are compared with the sun and the moon. Disha Srotre. The space is where air travels and you hear. That is the hearing organ of God. The space all around. Bhag Brivida Veda. The Vedas are his voice and his words. Vayu Prana. The movement of the air is the movement of that cosmic energy. Hridayam Vishwamasya. This is something very... Hridayam, the heart, the mind, inner organ. Why it is said so? It's very simple. You create your own world when you are asleep. Where does that world come from? From your mind. You created it. And where does it disappear when you wake up? You are absorbing it in your mind. The memory remains there. Hridayam Vishwamasya. Beautifully Acharya Shankara says, don't you see, when you go into Shushupti, the world does not exist for you. And you wake up like the sparks from a blazing fire, infinite diversity is created during your dream state. You create this world and you absorb this world. Creation is because of the misconception of my true original nature. That is how I create. And that creation is all assimilated within me when I see myself everywhere. So, it is the inbuilt capacity in you to reach that stage. Never forget that. And that's why we say that humans are born only for one purpose. Jivana Mukti Sukha Prapti Janmadharam Karanam Janmadharam Hetabe Janmadharanam. The purpose of being born a human is to reach that goal. Padbham Prithivi. This whole world is his legs. Move around. He Esha Sarvabhuta Antaratma. Don't forget this fifth definition. Whatever you may think or say. Now, let us move on. The philosophical part is over. Let us move on to the fifth shloka. Tasmat Agni Samida Jasya Surya. This is what I told before. Surya is the main thing. From there, clouds come up. From clouds, rains fall. The earth takes that rain and produces life, herbal life. People eat that, animals eat that, and having eaten that, the biological process takes place and the procreation goes on and they die and they come back. This cycle goes on over and over and over again. The next shloka number 6. Tasmat richa sham jajungshi diksha. The 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Shama Veda, Jajur Veda, and Atharva Veda, they have all come out from him. The God's wisdom has been encompassed in the Vedic literature. It has come all from him. Diksha is that internal discipline required to reach that goal. That is what Diksha is. It's a type of education which will help you to kasminnu vigyate. How I know that? By experiencing, not by knowing. Diksha is that procedure. Jagyasya sarve kratapa yajnashu dakshina and etc. That is in the Jagya. Yeah. Samvatsarasya jajamanasya loka shoma yatra pavate yatra shuja. Please read the translations. That will be more than enough. Tasmacha deva bauda samprasuta. The concept of various devas. By the way, I would like to highlight this idea. The concept of devas are nothing else but the principles of nature. Indra Deva, Varuna Deva, Pavana Deva, Agni Deva, Surya Deva, Chandra Deva. All devas, Jyotavan, they are the principles on which the whole cosmos moves according to his will. Parameshwara's will, Maya Adhisha's will. This is being said here. Tasmasta deva bahudha samprasuta sadhya manusha pashavo vayangsi. Sadhya is a type of evolved souls. Manusha, you know, pashava means plural pashu, and vayangsi is birds. Prana, apana, brihi, java, tapasya, shraddha, satyam, brahmacharam, vidhischa. All these disciplines of life that has come up is from that. That is, always have that 5th dimension, awareness of divine in this infinite diversity of the world. Sapta prana prabhavanti tasmat. Saptarchisha samida sapta homa. Sapte me loka jeshu charanti prana guhashaya nihita te sapta. Ata samudra girascha sarve. From that, samudra and giraya means plural. Giri, mountains. They have all come out. Tasmat sandate sindhava sarva rupa. From there all these oceans have come out. Etasya sarva oshada rasasya jena esha bhutai tishtate hi antara atma. These catchwords, hi esha sarva bhuta antaratma, here he says tishtate hi antara atma. That is, always focus your attention to the reality behind the appearance, the awareness of presence of the divine everywhere. And we come to the last shloka of this chapter. Purusha Vedam Vishya Karma. He's completing now, concluding this chapter. eva idam vishwam purusha eva. Idam vishwam. That Tarjani Adhara, this. Vishwam is all comprehensive, no exclusion, all inclusive. What you can see, what you imagine, which is beyond your imagination, yet to be imagined, all inclusive. They are Purusham eva idam Vishwam. Always remember, he is the eternal entity behind this diversity. Tapo Brahma Parama Amritam. Paramritam. Brahma is Parama Amritam. Deathless. Once you achieve that, you are beyond the cycle of birth and death. Etad jo Veda nihitam guhayam. Etad jo Veda, he who knows it as such. As what? He resides in the core of my heart. Hridayam. That's what we are told. Meditate upon the God's figure or his presence in the depth of your heart, from where your awareness of amness is arising, from there. Now the fun of it is, if you dive deep within yourself and try to locate a spot from where I am is coming, you'll not be able to. Why? You are everywhere. No space can locate you. You are here and not there. Therefore, you are asked to imagine at the core of your heart, whatever that means, to the depth that you can go. There, he sits there to guide your destiny. Etal jo Veda nihitam guhayam. This is Hridaya Guha, this chest barrel, the rib cage and the spine behind, from the throat to the navel. It's a barrel. Deep down within it, he is there, and you should know him as such. What will happen to you when you know him? Avidya granthim bikirati iha somya. Hey Somya, that is the student who has well collected his sense organs and doesn't allow any energy to flow out unused. That is, he has developed the capacity to utilize the energy that this body-mind complex generates. He has a total control on that energy. And with that controlled energy, he tries to experience that eternal reality deep down within his being. He breaks asunder the bondage of ignorance. Avidya granthim iha bikarati he Shobhya. He Shobhya, the student, the pupil who comes to learn, the child who comes to learn, that is Shonaka, who came to learn, to him he is saying, Shobhya, that means one who has total control on all his faculties and the energy that is generating. And that energy is diverted to the awareness of presence of the Absolute deep down within myself. With that Vijnana etal jo Veda, he who experiences that. Here Veda is not intellectual knowing, here Veda means experiencing. He who, by the process of self-education, when he is not meditating, He is meditating. How? He's seeing everything, but he's focused. He's centralized on the awareness of presence of the divine everywhere. That is how he lives. Nobody should know. Nobody should ever smell of it, think of it. But you know you are interacting with your beloved divine all the time when you are awake. That is Jagrata Samadhi. You are awake, but you are Samadhistha. What is Samadhistha? Your one-pointed attention of awareness of the presence of the divine and interacting with the divine in a human manner. You talk, you make fun, you sow this, you do that, you eat, you enjoy. You do it with the presence of the divine. If you can do so, dear, in meditative time, what you do, you shut yourself up totally. Dive deep down within yourself and be aware of the presence of the divine. And that awareness saturates your being. That is known as Etat Yo Veda. As such, this is the type of experience that has to happen. What? That he is totally in me and he is everywhere. And I am that. I has merged with he. Aham has merged with tuhu, tuhu. The aham is no more there. If you do so, you have achieved that goal. So, the answer to this pertinent question, that is there anything experiencing which everything remains known and understood and experienced, there is no hunger for knowledge anymore. I have known the whole world, the whole universe. I have known it as myself. This is how he ends the philosophical section. The next chapter, the second chapter of the second Mundaka, he will now slowly and slowly start the teaching, the disciplines that you should follow to reach that goal. And up till the end of it, this is how you have to understand. This is the part known as intellectual conviction. Rock solid, crystal clear, intellectual conviction that the divine is in me, the divine is everywhere. While meditating, I shut myself within me to meditate on my God, where all my energy generated by this body-mind system is concentrated towards that presence. And when I'm wide open doing my professional duties of life, I live in God, I live with God, I live for the sake of serving God's children, and that happens with the blessings of God. Nothing but God in our life. This is what this Upanishad teaches you. Now the second khanda, the second chapter of the second Mundaka, will start the most interesting aspect of what happens to you. How do you proceed from the kindergarten class right up to the end of your research work? You know what you wanted to know. The whole gamut of discipline will be mentioned from the second chapter. We'll meet again next Saturday. Thank you, dears. Thank you ever so much for your undivided attention.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat श्रीरामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।